Pineal gland is located in the dorsal side of the forebrain, and we are going to find it's like a big lobular structure, slightly near the size of that of the pituitary lobes, and it is responsible for it is completely reddish brown in color, and it is a supporting glands, we can say. So this pineal is responsible for production of melatonin, a derivative of amino acid tryptophan, and this is responsible for giving our skin color, because this is the hormone which induces the melanophore cells of our skin. And also it actually is is also responsible for somewhat maintaining our sleep and wake cycle. We call this phenomenon as the diurnal activity of the body, and it actually is the one which acts like which makes us feel like in the state of awake or in the state of sleepiness. So if we don't maintain our sleep and wake cycle properly, we do find that our physiological balance it changes. It is all because of it. And one can notice easily that during the change of the season, we do find that our requirement of the sleep and everything, it also changes accordingly. So it is, in a way, it is like maintaining our entire rhythmic cycle of the body. Means we are aware in a way that it is daytime or it is a night time, and we do maintain a particular phase of our body where we suddenly start feeling quite sleepy and everything. It is all because of this gland. That's why it is sometimes this total process of maintaining the body's internal clock and everything is what is known as the circadian rhythm. Now, the next gland we're going to talk about here is actually the gland called the thyroid. Now, this was already like mentioned before in the previous slide, in the previous video, that this particular gland is present right underneath our larynx. It is actually the one that covers the trachea. It somewhat appears to be a butterfly shape structure, and in a way, uh, this particular structure, it can be present. It can be actually easily like located in the case of the male, because it is present right underneath the Adam's apple, uh, whereas in the case of the female, it is not like that. Means they don't have this distinct Adam's apple shape, definitely. So though it is like under the hyoid bone, so it can be noticed. So what I was saying here is that this gland, it is considered as the largest endocrine gland that develops from the endoderm of the embryo. Means when the embryo is developing from its internal layer, this particular gland, it actually develops, and it is the largest endocrine gland. Now, thyroid in the case of female, it is comparatively larger than that of the male. Slight larger thyroid can be found in their cases. Now, thyroid gland, it actually is responsible for production of thyroxine and triiodothyronine. I pronounced the name wrong. It's triiodothyronine. This particular hormones are being released from them, and they are somewhat responsible for maintaining the total metabolism of the body. Okay, means it actually regulates the amount of lipid metabolism that is going to happen in our body, the amount of means lipid deposition also in our body. To some extent, it is like responsible of maintaining the thermoregulation system of our body, because whenever body needs to produce a bit more heat, internal heat, it is by burning this fat only that it will be possible, or the metabolism of the fat is only going to lead to this thing. For that particular reason, this metabolism of lipids, since it is maintained by this particular hormone, so they are responsible for maintaining the body heat system also. Now, the hormones are actually this T4 and the T3, both the hormones are actually somewhat, it is dependent on the amount of iodine that will be consumed. Because especially for the case of the T3, because even in the name you can see it's written as triiodo. So this particular element, this iodine, if its intake is not done properly, then we actually don't produce the thyroid, this hormone, these thyroid hormones, and that can eventually lead to major problems, like especially the coronary artery stenosis, where there will be accumulation of large amount of fat deposit in those blood vessels, resulting in coronary, like complete coronary shutdown, means it's like heart failure, we can say. Even it is also going to lead to like increase in blood pressure and all. So all these features that will actually start taking place. Even it is noticed that the moment these people, they actually have imbalance in production of this hormone, they actually suffer from some certain diseases. So, like the very famous disease called the exophthalmic goiter, where we're going to find that. Oh, unfortunately, I missed the slide. All right, so I don't have the slide with me here. So, see, the exophthalmic goiter or the Graves' disease are the one where we find that there will be enlargement of the entire thyroid gland that will be taking place. This is all due to excessive production of both the T3 and the T4 hormone. So this increase in size of this like glands, not only that, the increase in like even the eyeballs will actually start protruding outward. So it is like because of increase in the basal metabolic rate. And oh yes, this hormone is also responsible for maintaining the basal metabolic rate of the body. So that will actually take place, but along with a very much high degree of weight loss. Now those things are at all not at all means accepted for the body's normal function, and this is all due to the high amount of intake, like intake of this, like not actually intake, is actually is due to the high production of of these hormones. Now the similar kind of symptom will be seen, not exactly fully similar but near similar type of condition will be seen. But in that case also there will be enlargement of the thyroid gland will take place. That is when we don't take proper amount of iodine with our food. Like we know iodine is now supplemented with the salt that we consume, but initially this iodine was not being taken up by the people properly. So in their case also we will find this condition of goiter will take place, but that is due to lack of production of T3 and T4 hormones. Now that will actually be simply like mitigated by taking in proper amount of iodine, and that will actually like retry the entire problem. The problem will be solved. That is actually the only solution that is there. Now in some cases, people in case of like mainly the child, like children and all, they do actually get a problem where they have retarded physical growth, mental growth. They have coarse and dry skin, uh, means body muscles and everything are not well developed and everything. So those conditions that we see is actually called the cretinism. This is also due to the lesser secretion of the T4 hormone. So these kind of problems that the person they actually suffer from whenever there is a like less secretion of this hormone taking place in the body. Now other than this, like we do have, wow. So other than this, we actually also have going to have one more hormone being secreted from the thyroid, which is again not mentioned here. Which is called the calcitonin, which maintains the calcium intake of our body. Correct. Now the next gland that is there is going to be parathyroid gland, which are nothing but like four lobes, additional lobes that will be seen in the posterior portion of the thyroid. So you can see the thyroid gland actually doesn't cover the entire trachea. At the posterior side, it actually remains like partly there. It doesn't cover the entire trachea. So in that particular region, we will find this four lobes to be present, the superior and the inferior ones, and they are responsible for like production of like a hormone called like parathyroid hormone, or sometimes they are also called as the parathormone. So this hormone is completely responsible for mineral uh, absorption, mineral intake, and its metabolism with our body. Means we will find that the phosphorus, the calcium, its intake, it is completely regulated by that. That means if this is not working properly in a person, we may find that the bone development will be actually problematic in that particular cases. Means there is a chance that the bone will become very softer and fragile sort of, so the person can lose their full activity. Not only that, like it's entirely, since it is completely dependent on the like uptake and metabolism of the bones, I mean the calcium. So we are going to find that it's affecting both the kidney, the bones, definitely the kidneys, and yes, intestine is definitely playing a role there, because uh, the activation of this or absorption of this calcium, it is somewhat mitigated, like controlled by the vitamin D, and this actually, all these processes are going to like falter completely, because if this hormone is not being produced in proper amount, proper quantity. So that's why it is essential for our body's development that the hormone needs to be this gland needs to be completely active sort. Well, now the next gland that we can discuss about will be the thymus gland, and thymus gland, it is actually present in the aortic arch. I mean, like if you remember the structure of the heart, then you know that the aorta makes a arch, like turn on from the top region of it, like right there. We are going to find from here the aorta is going to originate, and it's going to make a arch like this. So in that arch formation, we are going to find this two structure is present there. Now this thymus gland, it is like it is again lobular, multiple lobular structure, it can be seen. Now this one is responsible for production of a hormone called the thymosin, and thymosin is necessary for the lymphocyte development, especially the T lymphocyte development. Let me tell you why. See this scenario here, where we have an antigen presenting cell shown right here, this one, and then we have a T cell written here, this one. So what is actually there is like we have this particular structure called this MHC. If you can see, it's written there, MHC1 molecule. So we have this structure called the MHC. Now this antigen presenting cell, or also known as the macrophages, are responsible for ingesting the harmful, like whatever antigen or whatever harmful material, maybe the bacteria, whatever has entered the body, it will actually consume it. Now after consuming, it will actually release all these antigen fragments, as they are written here. These are actually the markers by which this bacteria can be identified. So all these markers, it is going to present with the help of this MHC1 complex, right? Now once this is there, what will happen is this cell will actually read that this antigens that are there, it will read that antigen. Once it will read that antigen, it can go and either activate the cytotoxic T cells, there are a bundle of them present here, or in the second process, it can activate another cell called the B cell. Now if the B cells are activated, then B cells are going to produce antibodies, okay, which will go and neutralize that whatever bacteria has entered, or it can activate the cytotoxic T cells, and this will go and directly kill those bacteria. Okay, that is the only thing that is there. Now for this to work properly, it is this T cell which needs to understand this antigen after all, isn't it? Now let me tell you something. Antigens are present in our body cells, means in own body cell, and in foreign cells also. But then how to determine or how to distinguish between these two? So that knowledge is what this thymosin provides the T cell. Okay, means the T cell will actually have a very good education that the all these antigens that are present in the person's own body is what will be considered as the self, means its own, whereas anything other than that will be considered as a foreign, means harmful. It may be something good, but if it is considered as an antigen, it will be considered always as a harmful if it is not the self antigen. So that case, it is going to act by either activating the B cells or by activating the cytotoxic T cells, which will go find those antigens and simply destroy whatever is producing it or whoever bears it. So ultimately, that way our body protect us from anything that is foreign. This is the entire concept of immunity, and this entire concept of immunity is what is gained by the T cell in the thymus with the help of this thymosin hormone. That means it is an essential part for the proper function of any individual, because without immunity anybody can die with a simple cold also. So we'll be stopping right here, because in the next video we'll be discussing about more glands. Thank you.